We're discussing soloing. This is lesson module 4. We're going to be talking about the free drum solo and foreshadowing in that, how to build that free drum solo together. Now, as much as I love playing drum solos, they're a gas, I really enjoy playing them more with the band over a song form, or specifically, at least in time. I'm not a big fan of the free drum solo, meaning it's just a bunch of stuff floating out there, a bunch of licks floating out in space. So whenever I have to play something like that, let's say in a clinic situation for an opening solo, I try to take a few different steps to make it make sense from a musical perspective. For instance, you can use something called foreshadowing. It's something that happens in movies and books and scripts, where you state something in a way early in the piece that will become much bigger or more important later in the piece. You can do that in a couple ways. Sometimes I'll start a solo in a cadenza style form, meaning cadenza means without time, and I'll state things inside of that will end up being in time and bigger later on. And it reminds me of when you were playing in a musical. You'd be playing in the pit orchestra in a musical, and you would, in the beginning, the first piece before everybody walks into the theater, or they're just sitting down for the beginning of the piece, the very first piece would have a little section of each song that's going to happen throughout the entire play. The various big pieces in it would all be a part of this original piece that we're going to play in the beginning, and it would sort of foreshadow what's happening through the entire play. So I do the same sort of thing when I'm talking about a free solo with foreshadowing. I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm going to take a solo that has 3 sections to it. The first section is a jazz section in 3. When I start the solo, I'm going to play more open, but in 3, maybe with bigger subdivisions of 3, or something that states that it's in 3, but it's not as blatant as it will be later on. Maybe later on I'm going to play 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3 in the solo. But in the beginning, I'm just going to think of that in my brain. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, You see what's happening there? I'm gradually stating the 3. I'm starting to build it, and then maybe I'm going more into time into the 3, and then at the towards the end of that, I can really go into a motif that's in 3 and start to play in 3. Sometimes I'll do it sonically. For instance, let's say later on in the solo, I'm going to play something that is a Brazilian batucada feel, and it's going to involve the floor toms and the bell and different things. I might do it with the voicing. Like my batucada is going to end up sounding like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I start the solo like this. 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, can start to hear there where I'm starting to like gradually build. I'm gradually building. I'm crescendoing the subdivisions. I'm adding the tones in. I'm starting to hear it come together. It's forming, it's forming, it's forming, and then I'll end up in that batucada beat. So that's a way of foreshadowing as well. But you can see, I think the lesson in all of this solo development discussion and all the lesson modules about soloing is the fact that we are not just going off and playing drum licks, that there's so many foundations for which us to think about when we're playing solos, from the song forms to motifs and themes to foreshadowing things with tones and rhythms, all of that thought process that's happening inside of our playing, rather than just going dig this lick, dig that lick. That won't take the listener anywhere. All these little things will, and it's really going to give you the freedom to not have to come up with this amazing stuff all the time and really build it. And when you do play something amazing, it's going to mean a lot more. So let me just perform sort of free solo. And what I'm going to do is take 3 different sections, the section in 3, the section that's a batucada, and let's say a section that's a double kick focus section. And I'm going to move up into that. I'll do them pretty quick. And you'll see how I get to that section first and then get to the next one and then get to the next one. And it all starts to make sense from a musical standpoint after a while. So here's an example of a free solo, still in time, but foreshadowing and building and taking this thing somewhere here with some freedom without having necessarily a song form behind it. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 3,